Hi guys, this is Jerry. This is the all-new Forthing Taikon. This is a very new fresh brand for the New Zealand market. This Taikon offers plug-in hybrid or range extended electric vehicle and a fully electric vehicle in the New Zealand market. Starting price for the Taikon is from $39.90 for its plug-in hybrid and $5 more for the higher spec, same variants, same drivetrain. If you want the EV, starting price is $42.90 plus ORC, then $5 more for the top version. In today's video, I want to tell you a quick impression for the exterior and interior plus the driving part for the plug-in hybrid and electric vehicle. Alright, for the exterior dimensions, the Taikon sits on a medium-sized SUV. It is 4.6 meters long with a wheelbase at 2.71. The width is just over 1.86. The height is at 1.68 meters. So it is not a bad size for the main competitors. From the exterior, they look identical even across different drivetrains and different trims. You find the petrol tank on the plug-in hybrid version, and fully electric version has no petrol tank, and that's pretty much it. All the vehicle will have the charger port at the front, which locates just right here. You get AC and DC charging. If you're looking for the electric version, DC charging is up to 150 kilowatts of peak power. Battery size for the EV is over 60 kilowatts hour with a 400 kilometers WLTP range. If you want the plug-in hybrid version, you will get around 180 kilometers under fully electric charge. Then on the side, the profile looks quite clean, quite tidy. You are going to get the slopey roofline at the back and black finishes around. You get 19-inch alloys as standard and black B-pillar and C-pillar plus privacy glass for this higher version, black roof rails on the top. The two-tone color is standard, no surcharge, but any color apart from the white is going to be a $495 surcharge over here. And then going to the back, we are going to have a running taillight bars, which is really nice. Small spoiler on the top and brake lights just over there. The slopey lines over here reminds me of something like a Porsche Cayenne Coupe, which is nice. It's not too bad. In terms of design, I think it's quite smart. It's pretty good and it's good looking vehicle for sure. The tailgate on this higher version is power lift tailgate. It's a bit slow. If it's the base model, it's going to be manual tailgate. The higher spec will also get this privacy cover. If you go to the base model, there is no privacy cover, by the way. Combined storage behind the seats, including the boot floor, you are going to get more than 541 liters based on the brochure, but the vehicle has a relatively high level bumper over here, so taking heavy items inside and out is not going to be the easiest. The good thing about this vehicle, you can drop the seats completely flat, 40-60 split. That means you're going to get close to 1,500 liters combined volume when the seats are dropped. The rear door opening of the Forthing is really good. It's close to 90 degrees also. And then let's step inside. So all the Forthing vehicles will get these synthetic leather seats with white stitchings over here. They do look rather nice. At the front, you get the sporty bucket looking seats, which is really good as well. In the center, you are going to find your armrest and cup holders. And at the front, you're going to find the pockets over here, air vents, one single USB-A charging with a storage underneath, and relatively flat floor. If it's EV, it's completely floor. This one, it gets close to flat. Anyway, I have set the front passenger seat to my driving position. I've got great amount of room over here. And at the back, I've got plenty of headroom, even with this panoramic glass roof on the top version. The visibility at the back is pretty good, generous. Now, this is how the interior looks like on the Taikon. You get electric seats on both sides, even from the basic model. The driver's seat will have cooling and massage, which is very odd because you don't get heating at all on the Forthing. Now, get inside, you get this large steering, which is a little bit too large for my liking, but it's okay. You get cruise control functions, 360 camera, which is available on the higher version, some buttons over here to change your dashboard and music and things like that. Your windscreen wipers on the right, your indicator will be on the left. It's got auto rain sensing and auto wipers and things. This plug-in hybrid version does have a stop-start button. Every of them gets keyless entry, by the way. If you go to the EV, you actually have a stop-start button over there. The dashboard is 8.8 inch, looks pretty clear, shows all the information that you need. It's pretty good. And then over here, your screen. This is a 14.6 inch display. It looks quite large. It doesn't sit straight against the dashboard, which is actually quite cool because it kind of opens up that gap for you for your visibility. You get drop-down menu over here. You got wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, which will be a full screen display. This vehicle, being the higher version, will get the 360 view camera. They are okay on the quality. Can't say they're premium, but for the price, they are okay. You get charging port information, you get different driving modes, and you get the vehicle control to control a lot of things. For this plug-in hybrid version, you get change for your energy recovery, for your drive mode, and the driving experience. You can also change your driving mode, pedal response, energy recuperation, and things like that. And then if it's the plug-in hybrid, you also get energy center that allows you to change the vehicle into different mode. So you will have energy management from pure electric first, pure electric only, pure electric first, fuel electricity hybrid, fuel first, and things. So that allows you to change quite a lot of things over here. And then you can see the battery range and fuel range. I'll show you everything on the screen because we don't have enough time to go through everything. Anyway, screen is pretty snappy for the price and it looks pretty clear. I like how it looks. Underneath, you get a center console plus aircon adjustments. It's our physical buttons, which is good. Wireless phone charging 50 watt on this higher version with active cooling. And then underneath, 2 cup holders, electronic gear selector, handbrake, P button, and down there, a good amount of storage. Over here, deep storage as well. Glove box on the side is decent too. And then over here on your trims, these are quite plasticky, but underneath you get some softer paddings over here, some softer paddings on the top, which looks great. On this higher version, you get the panoramic sunroof with the shade available, but if you go to the base model, it's just a plain black roof. Alright, now we are in the super hybrid Taikon for the drive. First thing, the drivetrain. It's a very unique drivetrain to the New Zealand market, although Forthing advertised this drivetrain as a super hybrid, and many would just take as a hybrid. It's still very different from the super hybrid. It's more like a range extended EV. That means the petrol motor at the front would mostly, or will like 100% only do as a generator, so it doesn't power directly to the wheels. Instead, you are going to get an EV motor at the back, as this one is the rear-wheel drive architecture, and that means this vehicle is rear-wheel drive, 120 kilowatts of power and 240 newton meters of torque for the rear driving motor in terms of performance. The front petrol motor, again, acting as a generator, produces max up to 150 kilowatts of power. Again, it doesn't drive the wheels at all. For this vehicle, the advantage is you can use 91 petrol if you don't have EV charge, where the petrol motor will charge its EV battery. At the same time, if you are do daily runs, you could just easily plug in, charge at home, get up to 180 kilometers on WLTP range and EV driving. So for your daily drive, you could use this for half a week or 1 week, depending on your commute, with no drop of petrol. But if you are going to a long run, let's say we're driving in Queenstown right now, you can easily just put on petrol, off it goes, and it still drive and still performs like an electric vehicle. So that's the cool part about the range extended EV, which is now advertised to super hybrid. In terms of driving, 120 kilowatts of power doesn't feel that much. It's okay, it's smooth. You get 3 driving modes to change from: Eco, Normal, Sport, I believe. You are able to change the steering feedback as well. Right now we are driving both under normal mode, so it's all right, just a standard city drive car. It's easy to control everything. The super hybrid does come with a suspension called MacPherson strut at the front and torsion beam at the back. It feels all right, to be fair. On a country road like this, doesn't roll that much, and the steering feedback is all right. Being a rear-wheel drive car, you actually get a bit sort of assistance on it when you go around the corners and things. And next will be visibility on the vehicle. Front side is really good. Larger wing mirror on the side is pretty good. The rear windscreen is quite small, but you should be able to see most of the things. But it is on the smaller side because the slopey roofline coupe shape, someone may argue. In terms of EV usage mode, there are actually 4 available. So first one is pure electric only. It's going to just drain your pure electricity all the way to pretty much reserve level. And then second will be pure electric first. So again, it will drain it to reserve level, then quickly switch to hybrid. Third one will be the hybrid. So hybrids kind of uses both motors and trying to work out what's the best scenario for charge or not charge, or EV or not EV. And then last one will be petrol first. So it's going to drain your petrol tank first to have a set level for your electric charge, so that you get a much longer distance drive. I guess for most people in the city, you probably will try to prefer EV first, but if you're going a long run, you could just switch that in between. You have to touch the screen to switch a few things, which there's a few physical buttons, but yeah, at the moment you have to touch the screen to do a few things. In terms of noise level, today has been quite windy, so you're going to hear a lot of wind noise coming from the side and things. And then when we are looking at road noise, we aren't just driving on these country roads around Queenstown, so it's going to be quite noisy inside the cabin. But assume when you drive this on Auckland motorway, it's going to be much better, especially not driving at such a high speed. So noise level we'll probably test in the future to see how it really is. But on the road, it's pretty comfy. It's alright for even a torsion beam suspension at the back. I think I'm perfectly fine with how the suspension works on this plug-in hybrid version. Alright, now we are driving the Taikon EV for the first time. First thing, powers. It's single motor front wheel drive only, unlike the hybrid, which is rear wheel drive. This EV is single motor front wheel drive and produces 150 kilowatts of power, 240 Newton meters of torque. Forthing didn't mention anything from 0 to 100, but from get and go, it feels better compared to the rear wheel drive super hybrid. It's definitely got a bit more punch, and the suspension setup on this is also quite different. This has an independent multi-link suspension at the back rather than the torsion beam compared to the super hybrid. So on the road, handling, it's okay, but doesn't have the same rear-wheel drive handling compared to the super hybrid. There's a few more beeps and things. The drivetrain is much simpler compared to the super hybrid. You don't get a petrol motor, you don't get anything, just single speed EV. You put the foot down, it's really smooth, it kicks. The visibility is just like the plug-in hybrid, so okay at the front on the side, but quite slim rear windscreen at the back. Noise level, it's going to be similar to the plug-in hybrid version. This is electric, so at low speed you're going to get the electric whiny noise. When you reverse, there's a bing sound as well. When you accelerate, there's whiny noise again from the EV motor, but it's fine. Tire noise is quite a bit on these rough roads, but not sure how it is from the Auckland motorway. And overall, the first driving impression is quite good. It's pretty solid in terms of what it is on these country roads. It does the job at this price point. It's not going to be the super fast machine, but it drives okay. It's quite comfortable at the moment until we do further testing. But yeah, that's the first impression about the Forthing Taikon EV and super hybrid. Alright, there you have it. What do you think about the new Forthing Taikon? Please let me know in the comment down below. Would you prefer the plug-in hybrid or the electric vehicle? Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next video.